Greetings, y'all. Greetings. Welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. I'm your hostess and your melanated queen. Today, y'all, right now, I actually have a headache, but I decided to push through and give you this video anyway. I'm out here in some fresh air, enjoying the sunlight. Today's video topic: make melanated families great again. Now, a lot of people hear that and they're going to click off the video because they don't care about melanated families, because this does not impact their community. Anytime we talk about something that goes on with melanated people, no one has a real interest in it unless they can benefit off of it. Make that clear. Whenever we talk about melanated topics that impact the melanated community, no one else cares unless they can benefit off of it. And a lot of times the people that are in the melanated community don't even care about their own affairs. So why do I state that as a topic? Make melanated families great again? Because they got this whole thing about make America great again. When was America ever great? When was it ever great for melanated people? Please answer that question. It was never great. It was never great ever since those people came over here and took over this country and oppressed melanated people. Now, let's get into some things that I find are very interesting, y'all. This breeze feels so good right now. All right, so I substitute taught kindergarten the other day. And this is something I want to touch on. I don't know what's going on in a lot of these households, but I can tell you one thing that is not taking place, and that's teaching the children. Now, when I talk about that, people are going to click off the video because they don't want to hear about it. They're not interested in it. They're not even interested in their own children's education. I've done so many videos talking about the same thing, and every school year I am seeing the same scenario from school to school, year after year. It's ridiculous. There's no reason why your child should be sitting in kindergarten and cannot spell their first name, cannot do letter recognition. They can recite the ABCs and that's it. It's not enough just to recite it if you don't even know what the letters are, what sound they make. And everybody feels like, oh, this is the teacher's job, this is the school's job. So the parents, or let me say baby procreators, the baby makers, because that's not parenting. They feel like they don't need to play a part in educating their child. So what's going on at the house? Is it playing iPads, video games, TV watching, YouTube, Netflix? What's really going on? Because this is simple, basic stuff. If your child can be the most boisterous, the most talkative in class, but yet cannot spell the first name and cannot recognize letters, alphabet, I don't understand what's going on here. And when you say that, people get mad, they get hypersensitive. Then on top, and there's no learning disability going on. Let me just make that very clear. Okay? Then let's go on to this single baby mama culture, that I feel like people think this is a cool thing to have multiple baby mamas, multiple baby daddies. Oh, that's just my baby daddy. Who that is? My baby daddy. Who that is? My baby daddy. That's just my baby daddy. It's not cute. It's not cute. It's not cute. That's your child's father. That's your children's mother. Let's start there. Start being a father and start being a mother again. Yeah, I'm looking at this bee because it just landed on the dandelion. I was going to try to take a picture of it, but I don't have my phone out here. So I need this camera to take. It would have been a really cute picture, y'all. So I got sidetracked by nature. But anyway, yeah. So getting back to making melanated families great again, you need the mother and the father in the household. How many times can we say that without people getting mad and getting hypersensitive? People are not planning anymore. Oh, it just happened. You just happened to have a baby by this person. Y'all didn't plan for it. And then before she can even bring the child onto the, forth into this world, basically, y'all not going to be together. And it keeps happening. It's just, it doesn't happen one time, it happens again, and then it happens again. Like the broken families, that's a major problem in the melanated community, and people act like they don't want to talk about it. They act like they don't want to address it, and then there's a bunch of excuses about everything, about choices that people make, right? Repeated choices. And then on top of it, let's get into the fact that melanated people feel like it's okay to keep tearing each other down on social media. It's the melanated guys against the melanated females or ladies. Where are you getting what are you getting out of that? I don't see any other group of people going against their women and going against their men this strong on social media. Y'all, we are already the most oppressed on the globe, in the world, in America, in the nation, everywhere. And everybody knows it. They are sitting on the sidelines looking at this basically array of a circus that's taking place. And yet y'all still, and you got grown people. Let's not even get into Cameron and Mason. I don't care who likes their podcast, but let's not even get into how they disrespect females. A female is always the B word. So, ladies, when do you stand up for yourself and stop using that as a term of endearment? You want to be called a female dog, and you stand for that because you actually call yourself one. Words are powerful, and regardless of what you think, oh, I remixed it, I switched it, I did this, I used the N word as a term. Nobody cares. Because at the end of the day, you still have energy attached to these words. Words are spells, whether you know it or not. That's why they call it spelling in the dictionary. When we say weak, W-E-A-K and W-E-E-K, some people don't know the difference between the two. Let's start with that. A lot of people are ignorant when it comes to literature in the melanated community. And I know this is a bastardized language that we speak because they stripped us of our native tongue. But the language that we do communicate amongst one another, people don't even know how to use proper grammar, proper command of the English language. That is an issue. Everything has to be harsh. Every time you deliver a message, it has to be harsh. It's never done out of love. It's done out of hate. And this is a channel where I will talk about the problems, but I will also do it in a way that hopefully people can learn from what I'm saying. But people don't like to hear the truth. They like to be lied to, y'all. They like to be lied to. And they have all these excuses about every single thing. But you make things happen for what you want. You make sure that you can go out and buy Jordans that cost $200 and up. Y'all, another thing we got to talk about in the melanated community, make melanated families great again, is the financial lack of literacy and the financial planning. There's nothing cute about living on the edge. There's nothing cute about not being able to pay your rent and pay your bills. There's nothing cute about being a tenant for your life the whole time you're here on this planet, always renting from a landlord. There's nothing cute about using GoFundMe as an insurance policy because you did not properly plan to have life insurance. A life insurance policy can be less than $100 a month. You spend that on nails. You spend that on weed. But when people talk about these things on videos, people click off. They don't want to hear it because they're hypersensitive. And that is the ignorance that I'm speaking of. This is why people look at melanated people the way they do, because there's some type of lack of understanding, or if there's willful ignorance going on. And sometimes in the comment section, y'all can't even get mad because it's very true. The things that they're saying is very true. Right now, they have people in Chicago, the YNs they call them, threatening the president, making terroristic basically threats against the president and against the National Guard, saying, you don't want to come to Chicago, we got switches out here. Do you think the freaking military cares anything about these idiots out here making these threats on social media, showing their faces, talking about what they got? Yeah, come to Chicago. What we gonna do? Y'all not gonna do anything, because really these so-called gangsters, if they were so gangster and they were so hard, then they would be out here fighting the oppression that we're under. They will be defending the melanated women and children that are out here going through this oppression, going through these things that we have to fathom every single day. But they're not fighting against anything that's really threatening to our people as a whole. They're out here defending territory that they don't even own. They're defending blocks and street corners that they will never freaking own. As soon as the government tells you to get off their turf, guess what you're going to do? Migrate somewhere else. You're going to listen to this white man and this police because you hard, you gangster until the police comes. You hard and you gangster until you got to go up against the white man. And see, and that's when melanated females have no respect for these dudes. And then they want to get mad. They want to say that melanated females need to be submissive to submissive to what? To someone that does not provide, someone that cannot properly communicate, someone that has a lack of understanding about life, somebody that was probably more than likely raised by a single mother, and that's why they are hypersensitive and they act hyper masculine. Look, we got to really talk about it because the broken family, like I said, make melanated families great again. That's where a lot of this stuff stems from and starts. Y'all want to act like you're living in a freaking video world. You think everything is a music video because you want to be glamorized, but nobody else is really focused on that but you. And the people that imitate off of the culture, that imitate off of, the slang or the way people dress or the dance or the music, that's all they're really imitating, is that, because that's really all you have to offer the globe. They're not taking the broken families from you. They're not they're not actually taking the financial lack of literacy, the lack of financial literacy. They're not imitating that. They're only imitating the things that are entertaining. And you keep saying, oh, black people have a culture. So you call entertainment, which is music and dressing, and what else? Oh, the way that you speak with the, slang and stuff. Okay, that's your culture. Culture is supposed to be a lot more than that. Culture is supposed to be about how do you raise your family? What are your traditions? And I'm not talking about Christmas and Easter and Thanksgiving. Basically, when you are taking pagan holidays from your oppressor and celebrating the slaughtering of your ancestors that basically sacrificed their lives on this land, and you keep pushing these narratives down your children's throat from generation to generation. We live generational curses. I'm not talking about that. Where are your own celebratory practices that you create for yourselves? That's when you can say you have a culture. When is it okay to eat healthy? Because if you say, oh no, I don't eat X, Y, and Z. I'm not eating, rotted dead meat that you're putting on the grill for the barbecue or the cookout. That's not what I'm doing right now because I'm changing my diet. Oh, you ain't really black. Everything's a joke until you end up with diabetes, heart disease. What's another one that's real popular in the melanated community is basically supposed to be normalized. Oh, we got to die of something anyway. These are the ignorant comments that comes from the quote unquote community, right? That's the culture that you're talking about, that everybody's pulling from. You really need to have more love and care for yourselves, but you don't. So it's just like death is nothing to a lot of these people. And we know that it's a common part of life, but it should not be publicized and glorified so much in the music, in these videos. Like, why do you glorify killing your own people? That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And I'm sure other communities look at us and they just find it entertaining. But black culture is what you say and what you claim that you have, and that everybody's pulling from it, y'all. Please stop, because the same people talking about black culture are trying to be like the Italians. You got people naming themselves after people that are of other ethnicities. Rockefeller, that's European. Jim Jones, that didn't. These people want to emulate Scarface. People want to emulate other nationalities so badly and then claim that this is black culture. It is a disgrace. and you're making a mockery of your ancestors that actually laid their lives down on this land for some of you to even have the platform that you have today. And yet you still negate to educate yourself about the people that preceded us. You don't even glorify those people. You know who you glorify? Thugs and gangsters. We got to keep it real. Yeah, it's a joke. It's a joke. And, you keep perpetuating the same nonsense over and over again. This is why you are the last on the totem pole. And you're going to stay there until you wake up and stop with the antics. And it's time for people to hold you accountable. It's time to talk about the real conversations out here that need to be had instead of focusing on celebrity gossip every single day. Because those same people that you classify as celebrities could not care today or tomorrow if you were to step off this planet. They're not going to pay any funeral expenses for you. They're not going to take care of your children or your family when you're gone. They're not going to come and pay your bills. They're not going to save you if you go to jail. But you glorify and worship the wrong things. And it's sad and it's sickening. Y'all, I know this video is not going to be popularized because this is not a very popular topic that people want to hear about. But it is the honest truth. And instead of you all focusing on everybody outside of yourselves, you need to focus on yourself. Focus on the family that you created and focus on these children that can barely read and write or do math. You can't do that. That's the real flex. Oh yeah, my child is excelling in reading, writing, and math. My child is basically on a higher level than the other children in their school. That's the real flex. Education is more powerful than what people know. You even have Jamaicans and other people that come over here that are melanated. They're not American melanated people that come over here and they take education more seriously than the people that actually live on this land because they know how powerful and important it is. But the people that are here don't even take it seriously because they're too focused on entertainment. Everything is a music video. It's sad, y'all. Grow up. Grow up. And I'm gonna tell you this for the melanated females out here: stop entertaining anybody that is immature. If he is an emotionally immature male, you can tell within the first couple of seconds of talking to him because first of all, he can't properly communicate well. Second of all, you can tell by his aura. And third of all, you can tell by their attitudes. And if they're displaying any signs of illiteracy or ignorance, stop entertaining them because some of y'all are putting yourselves in the situations that you complain about. Then you turn around and procreate with these degenerates and then want people to feel sorry for you. So we really need to hold everybody accountable. Everybody needs to be held accountable for this nonsense that's going on in America. Y'all, that is it. I will be talking more about different topics. I do want to touch on they've come out in the General Assembly and they were testifying saying that they had UFOs that they were shooting at. This was as late as 16 to 20 hours ago, y'all. So I do want to talk about that. I do feel that there's another life form that does exist in this world, and we would be very arrogant to think that we are the only living creatures. If there are all these different species of animals and insects, what makes you think that there's not another life form in this globe or in this world somewhere in this universe? That is it. I am signing out. In the words of Brown Girls Are Beautiful, you all stay blessed. Continue to walk in your divinity. And when I say walk in your divinity, really walk in it and stop keeping the standard low and set the bar higher for yourselves. All right, y'all, take care. And I want to give a special acknowledgement to all the new subscribers and all of the ultimate warriors, angelic warriors, and spiritual warriors that are out there. If you know what I'm talking about, then you already know some of us are chosen, and those that are not will always be lost. I'll talk to y'all later.